Hello, Nick here from TechNuovo and welcome back to the channel. Something a little different today, something I'm quite excited about, and it kind of fits in with my day job as an electrical engineer. This is the new Jackery Explorer 1500 Pro Portable Power Station. It's quite large, it's quite heavy, so I haven't actually got it here, but I'll put a picture in now. Now, if you're aware of Jackery, you have one of their products or have watched a review in the past. I'll probably be repeating myself for some of this, so feel free to skip ahead if needed. Let's start with the spec and features. Battery capacity is 1512 watt hour or 1.5 kilowatt hour. It's a lithium ion battery with a life cycle of 1000 cycles to 80% plus capacity. Various options for charging the unit via your 230 volt wall socket at home, which will take 2 hours to charge to 100%. You could charge it via your car or a similar 12 volt system, or charge it via the sun. I got this unit with two 200 watt Solar Saga solar panels from Jackery, which they are saying will take 9 hours in perfect condition with one panel, 5 hours with two panels, or 2 hours with 6 panels. Safety wise, there is an onboard BMS system plus over voltage and short circuit protection, which is effectively protecting you the same way a circuit breaker in your consumer unit at home would do. Moving on to the physical unit, it's big and it's heavy, and it's something you need to consider when purchasing. It weighs 35 pounds or 17 kilos, and it's roughly 380 by 270 by 300 mil in size. It's got a carry handle and it's a sturdy, robust piece of kit that will likely be okay with the odd knock or being stored in a garage. This does have an operating usage temperature between -10 and 40 degrees Celsius, and you need to consider how hot or cold your environment is before taking it away with you and using it. The ambient temperature surrounding the battery will affect performance, and for example, when it's cold here, my EV's range is reduced due to the low temperature, and this will probably be the same for the power station. The unit is constructed from metal and plastic. It's got grills with fans on either side to dissipate any heat generated, and it's got large rubber feet to help keep it secure. On the front of the unit, you've got a color display showing input, output, battery percentage and charging. There is also a handy little light with 2 brightness settings plus a flashing mode, which I think is Morse code. As for outputs, there are 2 USB-A ports that offer 18 watts max output, plus 2 USB-C ports that offer 100 watts max output. There are also 2 230 volt AC 3-pin sockets, as I've got the UK version here, with a max output of 1800 watts each, plus a 12 volt 10 amp car port or cigarette lighter port, as I've always known them as. Each outlet has a push button switch to turn it on and off. To the rear of the unit are the inputs, so a 230 volt kettle lead, input for the mains charging, and 2 DC inputs to connect your solar panels up. Where and when could you use this? So if you head over to the Jackery website, their portable power stations are for going out and about, camping and traveling, or maybe at home. They offer varying sizes, and obviously the bigger, the more powerful, but also less portable. Smaller power stations are available and ideal for a day out with a family, easy enough to carry, but may only charge phones, laptops, etc. As you go up, more options for outlets and what it will power become available. With this, the 1500 Pro, it will power phones, laptops, but also appliances, and if you are out camping, it will power a heater, a form of electric cooking perhaps, or a fridge. However, it's heavy, and if you use it with the associated solar panels, it will take up a fair amount of space in your boot. Setup is quite simple, there isn't much to it at all. If you're charging it via the mains, just plug it straight in to the socket and wait for it to charge. If you're charging it via the solar panels, then you need to connect these into the back of the unit and then set the panels up outside directing the sun. If it's cloudy or overcast, charge performance will be reduced, and obviously you can't use solar panels during the night. I've got 2 panels here to charge, so I can plug both directly into the back of the unit, but if you have more than 2, you need to combine them and then plug them in. There are various do's and don'ts in terms of linking solar panels together, so it's worth referring to the user manual. After using and charging the power station several times, I got somewhat consistent charge times via the mains and less consistent charge times via the solar panels. As I've got 2 panels here, 200 watts each, the absolute maximum input charge I could hope for was 400 watts in perfect conditions. It's February, it's cold, it's sometimes sunny, but we've not had that many clear blue skies where I am for the last few weeks. On one of the sunnier days, I managed to get an input of 290 watts, which noted a charge time of around 5 hours, but only if that was consistent, which it wasn't, as the sun moved or lowered as the day went on, and there were some clouds at times as well. However, it was very easy to plug in the panels. It starts charging straight away, and the display notes battery percentage and how long it's going to take to charge to 100%. The panels are foldable and come in a carry case, which is nice and it's handy, but they do have a fair size footprint to them, especially if you had 6 of them. It's going to need quite a large area to set them all up. Charging via the mains was a lot quicker, more efficient, but there is obviously a cost associated with that, and I checked on the charge several times and the input reading did vary between 250 watts and 750 watts. I'm not sure if that was a result of other things being used in my house, but I'll dig a little deeper into that. Right now I'm paying 34p per kilowatt hour for electricity, excluding the stand-in charge, and if we assume an average draw of 500 watts per hour, that's a 3-hour charge to 100%, costing about 50p. If you had the solar panels, it would be free to charge, of course, but that initial capital cost of circa £600 for one panel, double, triple or more, that's quite an outlay and a long return on investment. So what can this power and for how long? My kettle, which says it's 1800 to 2200 watts, it shows up on the display drawing 2000 watts output, and at 98% battery, it says I could run that kettle for 0.7 of an hour or 35-40 minutes. I borrowed my wife's hairdryer and thought I'd plug that in at the same time and see what happens. They both run with just the cooling of the dryer on and adds about 150 watts. But if I turn the first stage of heating on, it adds 700 odd watts, still both running. But if I then turn the dryer on to full heat, both items stop running and the power is automatically turned off. An error message F6 shows up on screen, and we have therefore met our maximum simultaneous allowance of around 3,400 watts. Turn the plugs off and back on, the error message is removed and you can continue to power on something else. The hairdryer at full blast on all the heat is nearly 1,400 watts, and that would last around 1 hour if you wanted to keep it on that long. I tried various devices, my TV, games console, PC, various lights, but none of them were really pushing the limits. I could power my TV for days if I wanted to. So you can run 2 plugs together as long as it doesn't demand too much juice. You can also use the USB ports at the same time too. So I have both USB-C ports charging my phone and laptop while I'm writing this review. You can also power something while it's charging. This would be a bit backwards if you had the unit plugged into the wall and then plug something into this rather than have it plugged into the wall. But if you had solar panels out charging the unit, you can also power something at the same time. So for example, if your solar panel has an input of 150 watts and you plug your phone in, which will draw 10 watts, your phone will charge, as well as the power station's battery, just a little bit slower as the 10 watts of input is being used to charge your phone. Plug something in that is a little more demanding with a greater output than input, the battery won't charge and the panels will only slow the depletion of the battery. As I've seen, the built-in protection works well and cuts off power to your devices when it needs to stay within the power station's safety limits. Remember earlier I mentioned fans to dissipate the heat. They do kick in when the more demanding items are plugged into the unit, and you will hear them. It's a consistent hum. So there we have it. That was the new Jackery 1500 Pro portable power station, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's a fantastic piece of kit if you will get use out of it. As it's quite an expense, it's not something I'd consider buying for myself to use once or twice a year going away and then leave it in the garage for the rest of the time. If you're in a situation where you could use this weekly, maybe daily, it would be a sound investment in my opinion. I'm going to keep using this around the house, take it out where I can and see how it works in some different scenarios. Keep an eye out on the channel for more content on this, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll take a look for you. That's a wrap on this video. If you have stuck around until the end, then thank you very much. And if you want to see more videos from us in the future, hit that subscribe button and all our future videos will pop up in your feed.